Hey there, amazing artists! Today, we're going to come back and we're going to work on the tigers that we started last week. Today, we're going to be creating a background for our tiger using a blue sheet of paper and this bright green and dark green. And we're going to use some oil pastels, we're going to use some fun scissors, we might even get to use our crimper tools, and we'll talk about all those things here in a moment. But to start, we're going to have to cut out our tiger. So remember, when we cut, our thumb goes in the small hole of the scissors and our thumb stays on top. When we're cutting, we cut away from ourselves. Our scissors are always pointed away from our body, and what we need to do instead is turn our paper as we cut. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to follow the outside black line that I see here. And notice I'm not turning my scissors, I'm just opening and closing them, and I'm turning my paper instead. All the way around. Okay, so once you have your tiger cut out, you're just going to take your scrap paper and make sure it goes in the trash. I'm going to set mine aside for right now. And then I'm going to set him aside for right now too. And it's okay if your name is not on the back anymore, because this is going to get glued down to this paper in just a moment. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to start by drawing out some designs for some leaves in my jungle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a oil pastel, but I think you should probably use a pencil in case you make a mistake. Remember, if you draw light until it's right, you can erase it. But I'm going to use this pastel just so that you can see what it is I'm trying to do. So I'm going to set my other papers out of the way, and on this light green, I'm going to start by creating some shapes that almost look like footballs. I make a curved line like this, and a curved line like this, and now that looks like a leaf. And so if I add a stem in the middle, I could even add some decorations on this if I wanted to. Now we will come back and do that with these pastels, so you don't have to worry about doing that yet. But you can really create these leaves in just about any shape that you want. We'll take a look at some examples of some leaves up on the board before we start. And we're trying to fill the paper. We want to try to get as many leaves out of this paper as possible. So we're going to put them pretty close to each other. And maybe some of them are bigger or longer. You can make bigger leaves. Like these, right? And down here where I have this extra paper, I'm probably just going to cut some strips, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. I'm going to do it on this paper too. So on this piece, I actually am going to try something a little different. I'm going to try drawing some leaves like this. Almost like they're growing up a vine. Now, if this is too challenging for you, just to draw freehand like this without tracing something, then don't do something this complicated. But if you feel up to the challenge of it, go ahead and give it a try. You can kind of see what that looks like there. And that will give us the illusion that the tiger is like climbing through these branches. But if that's too hard for you, that's okay. Do what you're going to be successful at, because we want our tigers in their jungles to look really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to put some marks here, 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 and then I'm going to stop after I get quite a few leaves on my paper. And again, they can be different sizes. I'm going to try to fill up that space. Okay, after I do this, again, I'm going to cut everything out. So you're going to see me do that super fast. Okay, after we get this step finished and we have all of our leaves cut out, I also want to make just a little bit of grass to go at the bottom. So I'm going to cut out a rectangle with any of the extra paper that I have. It doesn't have to be a lot, but this is why I didn't cut on every part of my paper. I didn't draw a leaf, was so that I have a little bit of extra at the end. Remember, these scraps go in the trash when you're finished. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a really special tool. On this, I'm going to use this paper crimper. The way that this works is I actually set the piece down into the center piece right there where they meet, and then I can turn the wheel on the side, and that piece will run through. Oops, I dropped my piece. And you can see it created this texture on here, almost like it's like a ridged chip, right? I can do that again. Let's create some more zigzags. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. And then what I can do is I can cut, not all the way to the bottom, some strips. Don't cut all the way through. Just cut up a little bit. And then I have some grass. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Cut down. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm cutting in, but I'm not cutting all the way. I'm just cutting most of the way. If you cut all the way through, that's no big deal. Then you just have 2 patches of grass, like I just did right there. Okay, that's no big deal. So now I have this, and I have all my leaves. And I have my tiger. Now I'm ready to start gluing things together. But before I can do that, I need to make some vines that my leaves are going to hang on. So I'm going to create some arches across my paper, going upside down. These are like little loops, like vines that hang, and I can do it in light green, I can do it in dark green, whatever I want, okay? Then I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm going to start sticking these things down in all the areas of my paper. So I might want to add some grass down here, but before I do that, I think it's probably a good choice to go ahead and add my tiger on there. Now it's okay if he fills up most of the paper. The rest of this stuff is just extra, and if it hangs off the edge a little bit, that's not going to be a big deal. Glue all the way around the outside edge of your tiger. After you do that, add a couple wiggly lines through the middle. Glue him down. Pressing, give it a little massage, pat, 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 pet your little cat. He's a big cat. Okay, now we're ready to start gluing on some of these leaves. Now it's okay if some of the leaves cover up parts of your tiger, because he is in the jungle and he's basically just crawling through the forest. He's trying to be sneaky. And again, if they hang off the edge of your paper, that's alright. We're just going to try not to completely cover up our tiger. So I'm just gluing these in different places. If I have some extra leaves, I might give them to my friends if they need some. If I have too many, I don't have to put them all on there. Right? Just the ones I think are going to look good. If you're going to add glue to this, make sure don't add it in places where it's going to hang off your paper. Here I'm going to add this branch, I think, in front of my tiger like this. Pat it down. Make sure it's really attached. And a little bit more. I'm going to add one more up here at the top, connecting off of my jungle vines. He's got a leaf on his head. And some grass at the bottom. Here I'm just going to add glue at the bottom because I want the top part to hang off a little bit. And I don't have to use all of this. Maybe I just use some of it. You decide what's going to look best for your art. We don't want to cover up our tiger completely. The last thing I might do is I might add just a couple paper flowers, and I'll show you what those look like. I think this leaf might be too big. I'm actually going to cut it to where it's a little smaller, just so I can stick it right there. Now it's pretty full, right? Now our tiger actually looks like he belongs where he lives. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try one more technique using these squares of tissue paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil. It would be better if your pencil did not have an eraser. It can be a colored pencil. I'm going to take my square, I'm going to place my pencil right in the center on the eraser side to where I have this part sticking up. That's where the eraser was, right? Now I'm going to take my glue stick, add some glue to that. Take another square, find the center, and push it over top, holding onto your pencil at the same time. And then do one more. Take a square, stick it on, fold it over. Now on this last time that I glue, instead of adding another square to this, I'm just going to stick it on my paper using my pencil, holding it down, push it in place, and really just kind of touch it a little bit with the pencil, massage it a little bit. And now look at that. Now there's a flower in my jungle, right? And I can do that more than once, so let's make one more really fast. Take my square, find the middle, fold it over the eraser, add a little bit of glue. Don't push on your glue stick super hard. Some people really shove it on there and then your glue stick ends up with a hole in it. Don't do that. Right? Add one more. I usually do about 3. If you want to just do 2, you can. We'll stop there for this one just so you can see the difference. And find somewhere you think this one should go. You don't need a lot of these, only if you have time at the end. And then that is what our finished tiger looks like. So much better than when he was just on the orange paper by himself. I hope you have fun making this project, amazing artists. Let's get started on this collage.